Buddy, welcome to Just Ask JT. This is the show where I talk about all things related to job search and career growth. And today we're talking about job search burnout. How do you get out of job search burnout? Raise your hand in the comments. Give me a heck yeah or I'm feeling it, JT, if you are dealing with a little burnout. My guess is if you're here watching this live show, it's because you're feeling it. And you're not alone. Job search burnout is really common, especially when job searches on average are taking a lot longer because of the current economy. So I think that's the first thing you need to recognize is that this isn't a you thing. This is a very common occurrence when you have a job market that is as difficult as the one we're facing right now, right? The total length of time to find a job is taking infinitely longer than it was, say, post-pandemic. And that leads to burnout. Anytime you do anything for long stretches of time, it's going to lead to burnout. So you got to give yourself some grace right out of the gate. You got to allow yourself to be like, okay, yeah, this isn't a me thing. I'm not doing something wrong. Burnout is a natural part of the process given the current job market and environment. Can we all agree to that? Yes, we can all agree to that, right? Okay. But this isn't my first rodeo, folks. If you've been following, you know that I've been in the business for well over 20 years. I started out in the staffing and recruiting industry, and then I became a career coach. And for the last 20 years, I've been helping people, and I've been through all sorts of job markets, including the Great Recession of 2008, including the challenges of the pandemic. So I know what long and lengthy job searches, prolonged job searches are like, and I know how to coach people through them. It's one of the reasons I built a coaching platform. So let's talk about that. Because burnout occurs when you are isolated. Burnout occurs when you're doing the same thing over and over and over again, expecting a different result and not getting anywhere, right? You plateau, right? You're literally putting in energy, but getting nothing back, right? And when you're isolated, when you're all alone in your job search, it's even worse because you're filled with doubt and emotion and stress. Does that make sense to everybody? Yeah. So let's talk about that because the worst thing that you can be when you're in job search mode is emotional. I'm just going to call it. When you're emotional, when your emotions are running high, you do not make good decisions and you do not take good actions. This is just a common fact about human nature. If we didn't want to talk about job search right now, we could talk about anything else. When you are in an emotional state, a heightened state of emotion, you do not make sound decisions or as sound as you could, and we don't always take the right course of action because we're coming from a place of stress, from a place of lack, from a place of anxiety, from a place of depression, right? Those are emotions that are not well regulated, right? So what we need to do is get you back to a level set emotional state. We've got to get you out of the funk, out of the depression, out of the anxiety, out of the fear, right? Out of the sadness and back to a level state. I'm not suggesting that you need to be joyous, okay? Nowhere in today's session am I going to be saying, and got to get you to this like happy place. Oh, you can't. That happy place will be when you land your next job. But we do have to get you back to a ready state. So an example that I like to give is this. If you think about pro athletes, they're on the big stage. And at any given time, you'll see a pro athlete go through a slump. And that slump is usually associated to burnout with them working at this high, operating at this high level, right? And for whatever reason, getting to that stage of burnout, they're not getting the results anymore. Maybe they're making mistakes. They're emotional. They're up in their head. They're isolated. And so what do pro athletes do in this situation? What do anybody, famous people, whoever, when they're hitting these moments of burnout, they get a coach. And the reason they get a coach is the coach gets them out of isolation, gets them out of their head and back in the game. Now, what does a coach do? That's very important. The first thing the coach does is really listen to their situation and reframe it for them. Because what's happening to all of you with job search burnout right now is that you've got a story going on in your head. You probably don't even realize you're doing it. But you've got this whole job search story going in your head, like how you got here and what it's been like. And it's like a major motion picture epic novel all wrapped into one. Like it's a drama. And that drama right now is telling a story where you're the victim and that it's hopeless and helpless. That's the story that's going on in there right now, over and over and over and over again. So a coach has to get you to realize that and go, wait a minute, my thoughts are not truths. These feelings aren't accurate. It's a made up story in my head that I have now convinced my body is 100% true and has deemed me feeling helpless and hopeless and isolated and lonely and sad and depressed. So do you see what I'm saying? That story is part of the problem. You are saying like nothing's working. I'm never going to be able to do this. Like all these negative terms. It's called NLP, neuro linguistic programming, and it's what humans do. But a better term for it is called NST, negative self-talk, because that's what's on autopilot in your head right now. So the first thing you have to do is break out of that burnout is to rewrite the script. So in our program, like when you join the paid membership of Work It Daily, if you're watching this today, you're a free member, right? And that's awesome. I'm so glad you're here. You're getting access to this show. But if you're a paid member of our program, you can work with our burnout and help you overcome burnout. And one of the exercises we have you do is rewrite the story. So first you write it all out and you get it all out. You just write and write and write and write until this whole thing that you didn't even realize is just nonstop playing in your head is out of your head and onto a piece of paper. And then you put it away for a night. And when you've had a good night's sleep, you come back and you read it to yourself and you start circling every negative term, every negative verb, every negative adjective, every negative adverb, every negative statement. And you will see that when you look at the entire document, the vast majority of it's negative. So then what you do is you rewrite it, you neutralize it. Because if you really look at it, if you say never, really, are we going to say never? Can't? Really, we're going to use can't? And so you're able to start to sit there and go through and just realize that you've been lying to yourself. This whole drama thing that you've got going in your head is an overstatement. It's overblown and it's not accurate. And that very simple process is truly cathartic because it actually starts to cut the cords of the negativity that's holding you down and creating the burnout. It's a very, very powerful exercise. Okay. Now, once you rewrite that exercise, you're not suddenly going to feel great and jump back at it. I'm not suggesting that's the case. Okay. But the next thing that you need is what I like to call dopamine hits. A dopamine hit is a little shot of like excitement, happiness, an aha moment, right? When you give your brain these dopamine hits as it relates to job search, it will rewire how you're looking at the search. And it's like a little spark. It's like if you had a little flint and you were starting a fire, you're going to flint and flint and flint and flint and flint. And not sure how many flints it'll take, but those little flints eventually, boom, you're going to get a fire. And that is how we get you out of burnout and back into like burning brightly. Okay. So how do you get that? That is why we built Work It Daily. Because to get those little flints, those little ahas, those little sparks, those little dopamine hits, you need, one, to be surrounded with other people, right? So just look at what you're doing here today, right? You're realizing there's a whole bunch of other people. When you're in our private program, we're not on YouTube like this. We're in a private video platform and all the members get to chat with one another privately. And you very quickly realize you are not alone and you feel supported and you no longer feel isolated and you're like, oh my gosh, other people have it worse than me. And that little exercise, like suddenly you have community. You need community. And when you're in our paid program, you get that community through the 5 lives a week we do. Because you're literally interacting. We also have a community area where you're interacting, okay? So that's the first thing that's going to give you dopamine hits is this connection, right? The second thing that's going to give you dopamine hits is the coaching. Because people are going to ask questions that you didn't even know you should ask, right? Someone's going to ask a question, you're going to go, oh, I didn't think of that. And all of a sudden, dopamine hit. Oh, so cool, I just got smarter, right? So that's going to spark you. And then the third thing that's going to spark you is the courses, because we build all these little mini video modules that you can listen to like a podcast. And they're all structured step by step by step, right? So the first one is how to get interviews. The second one's how to get job offers. Third one's how to stand out to recruiters. These are all little mini lessons, all updated in 2025. And that gives you 24/7 access to the coaching that's going to give you the dopamine hits, because you're going to learn things in those and go, oh, that's what I've been doing wrong, or oh, that's what I need to tweak. And this little process, these little flints of fire, where you're not alone anymore because you're surrounded by community, when you're getting coached and when you're taking courses, that changes it. We are called Work It Daily for a reason. We're not called Work It All Day. We're called Work It Daily. We know that if you can come in here 15, 30 minutes a day inside our paid program and come to a live event and be surrounded by peers and get your questions answered and hear other questions answered and watch really interesting videos, that little 30 minutes to an hour a day that you give us to Work It Daily, dopamine, 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 flint, 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 boom, fire. Does that make sense? Now, could you do that without Work It Daily? Of course you can. You can go find courses, coaching, and community, but I'm here to tell you, if you want to get over burnout, you need the 3 C's. And how do I know? Because we've proven it. Why do we have a platform with thousands of people in it? Why are we getting people new jobs every day? Because they're getting out of their burnout by leveraging the 3 C's. And you're doing one of them today, actually technically 2 of them, right? You're live getting coached, and there's some people here, community. That's what you need more of to break through this burnout. If you don't, you're going to keep doing the same thing over and over. You're going to be in total isolation. You're going to beat yourself up. You're going to keep telling that major motion picture that I'm a failure. Something's wrong with me, right? This isn't fair. This is awful. I'm a victim. You're not. You can be the hero of your story. And your hero moment starts with you taking action. Your hero moment starts with you rewriting that script and then getting your dopamine hits. Does that make sense to everybody? Yeah? Does that make sense? If it does, give me a yes in the comments. I cannot stress it enough how important it is. It's really, really, you can't do this by yourself. If you could, you would. You're going to have to get some support some way, somehow. But I can tell you, as a 20-year career coaching veteran who's taken thousands, tens of thousands of people out of burnout, I know what you're going through, and that's why we built a platform. Here's the thing. I quit traditional career coaching ages ago because it doesn't work. Let me let you in on a little secret. Traditional career coaching doesn't work. And when I say traditional, I mean you set up a call with a coach, you have a conversation with them, you go off and do your thing. Doesn't work. One, you have to pay a lot for an hour of my time. And for 1 hour, you're not alone and you're getting coached and you're feeling supported, and then you're all on your own again. I gave up on that model because I would have a great conversation with somebody for an hour. I'd send them off with their homework. And a month later, they'd meet with me and they wouldn't have done anything. And they were like, I didn't have the support. I didn't have the motivation. I got back down in the dumps again, JT. So I was like, how do I fix that? That's why I built Work It Daily. You don't need an hour of my time. You need a fraction of time at all different times when you're working on it to keep that momentum going, to keep that flint going, to get that fire burning. And once you're back in the game, you'll watch what happens. The whole story you tell yourself will change. The actions you'll take will change because you will get back to a level emotional state. What did I say at the beginning of this whole thing? The problem is you are too emotional. There are too many negative emotions weighing you down, which creates burnout. I've got to get you to a level state so that you can make really good decisions and take great actions. And that only comes by having courses, coaching, community. Yes? Awesome. Okay. If you have questions, I'm going to take a few questions today. So if you have a couple questions about burnout, feel free to pop them in the chat. Okay. While we're doing that, we did have, I get people who message in, and we do have a really cool question. If you were around last week, I did an Ask Me Anything with McCoy, and that's the video app that lets you record yourself and send it to hiring managers. And it's a game changer for job seekers right now. But we got a really good question. I want to share it, and I want to give an answer to it. Okay. So let's listen up here.
I just listened to the McCoy podcast, and I have one question. What is against your beliefs to record yourself onto social media visually? Is there an alternative?
So the question was, if it's against your beliefs to record yourself. So this person has beliefs that are, I cannot record myself. I don't know if that is spiritual or religious or just feel like that's their creed. Is there a way around it? Well, obviously video is still always going to be the best, folks, because you got to be interviewed. A video is an interview. I don't think you should call it video anymore. It's a virtual interview. It's answering interview questions virtually so that you can have an interview 24/7, because you can send those videos with your answers to questions at any time and create an instant interview. But if you have you're against it and you won't do it, you could do audio. So you could do a picture with audio, maybe you describing or showing something about your business, or you could choose not to do it at all. At the end of the day, it truly is your choice, but choices come with consequences. And the reality is that because of AI, recruiters no longer trust written resumes. They no longer trust written text. They actually want to see a real person on video to know that you know what you're talking about. So you can choose not to do video. It is your choice. It will come with limitations. That's it. You're just going to see a lot of people go, there's so many other candidates that will give me video. I don't have to choose you. And they're legally within their rights to do that. I've had people say, isn't that discrimination? It's not, folks. Not when they have access to hundreds and hundreds of people. Not when you have a LinkedIn profile with a picture on it. So if you're adverse to it, it is okay, but understand it will come with those consequences. And you're going to have to network that much harder and find your workarounds, because this is where that's going. Yeah. Yeah. Make sense? Thank you for the question. Awesome. All right, my rock stars. So listen, I know job search burnout is heavy, but I gave you a framework today of how to fix it. And it starts with writing out that very negative script that's in your head right now and reminding yourself that your facts, that those aren't facts. Your feelings and your thoughts aren't truths. They're not facts. You are over dramatizing your situation. And when we over dramatize, we create unnecessary emotion. That unnecessary emotion is hindering your ability to move forward. It is creating the depression and the burnout. So we got to fix that first. We got to rewrite the script and neutralize it. Don't make anything up. I'm not telling you to be fake happy. I'm just saying neutralize the negativity. Don't play the victim. And then however you choose to do it, whether you upgrade to a Work It Daily membership or you get it another way, I am telling you, 20 years in the business, courses, coaching, and community, the 3 C's are going to create the dopamine, the Flint effect that's going to spark your fire and get you burning again. I've seen it too many times. Too many times. You just got to do it. Right? And this might be your sign. Maybe you've been holding off on a Work It Daily membership. Today might be the day. Memberships start at $39 a month. You can cancel at any time. What if you came for 1 month and went to the lives and listened to the videos and just got supported for 1 month? $39. What if you did that for 1 month to get over your burnout? I challenge you to consider it. I wish I could give it away for free. Let me be honest. We have a free membership program that's amazing. We are the only people out there doing it. Just so you know, we saw what was coming and we made a free membership that you all have access to. That's why you're here. That nobody else is offering, because we knew how bad the market was. But I can't give away the level that you need. And that's why it's $39 a month. Still the best in the industry. I have a team. I have people that need to put food on the table. I've got to pay them. If I could give it away for you, I would. I can't. But I will tell you, it'll be the best $39 you've ever spent. If you're wondering between $39 and $79, $79 is unlimited coaching. You email the coaches anything and everything. They'll look at your resume, your LinkedIn profile, your cover letters, everything. So you want to talk about being super supported. But what I tell most people is sign up for a standard membership, get in there, come to the lives, get through your burnout. And when you're ready, upgrade. You could upgrade for a month and work with the coaches if you even need to, right? We built it for every level, for every budget. Okay. I love you all. Don't give up. I gave you the framework for getting over your burnout today. Please, I've seen it before and you have to do it. If you are experiencing burnout, you got to do something about it. There's no fairy godmother coming to save you. You have to be the hero of your own story, but this framework works. And for those of you that really want to be supported, this might be the sign that it's time to grab that membership for a month, okay? Awesome. No matter what, though, I'll be back here next week. I do a live for my free resource members every week, every Tuesday at 1 p.m. So I'll be back again next week with y'all, okay? Awesome. And don't forget, tomorrow there's going to be a big free event where I'm going to be showing you our new job shopping tool. So if you're interested in that, it'll be at 1 p.m. tomorrow, just like this. It's the new Work It Daily job shopping tool. It's how you locate real jobs. We've partnered with an incredible team, and we're going to show you how our tool works. We've been working on it for almost a year. It's amazing. It's an incredible piece of AI technology designed to help you find jobs that you're an actual match for. So if you're interested, that'll be tomorrow, okay? Awesome. All right, but I hope I see a bunch of you in the program. Take care, my friends. Stay strong. You got this.